Before.
Hi everybody, welcome to Armchair Directors. I am Matthew Crandall.
And I'm Michael Mercy.
And today we are taking a look at Toy Story 2 because Toy Story 3 is just coming out in theaters, and we thought it would be great to take a look back at the second one. We did review the first one. Google it. It's online if you want to know our thoughts on that. So Toy Story 2, one of the better sequels probably of all time.
Yeah.
Taking everything winning about the first movie, the great characters, very funny jokes, and just making it bigger, adding more characters, new situations, and probably one of the best animated movies out there.
Yeah, it's one of the few sequels that I've found tried to be bigger than the original and pulled it off.
Yeah.
Stuff doesn't feel contrived or boring. You got your favorite old characters are back. Couple new characters that are just as funny and cool as the original characters. Really love how they introduced a new Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
It's exactly like the original Buzz Lightyear from the first movie, who doesn't realize he's a toy. So that character had a little more mileage in him. So it was kind of cool that they brought him back. And then you got Zurg, and you got the Woody's Roundup gang too, which it's all great additions to the series.
It's nice because it doesn't totally feel like just a rehash of been there, done that. And a lot of it, you know, the first movie was a lot of Woody and Buzz sort of on the road, a buddy movie, and Woody and Buzz spent a lot of time apart in this one, but yet we're so endeared to the characters that we don't mind, and they still are in these fun situations, and we get to spend a lot of time with Woody and see Woody really in his element, and same with Buzz leading the mission to go rescue Woody.
I really liked how they did do that separation between the two main characters. That's how you get away from making it feel like a rehash. I know I go to Star Wars a lot for examples of movies that did it right, but Empire Strikes Back is a great example of splitting Solo and Skywalker, putting them on their own little adventures, and it just works so beautifully. It just makes it fresh.
Yeah, and the animation is top-notch even all these years later. It still looks fantastic. The Blu-ray has amazing picture and sound quality, so definitely if you don't own it, go get it. Got a free ticket for Toy Story 3, so you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, for sure. We've already gushed on and on about the picture quality of Toy Story 1, so we won't rehash what we've already said about that. And everything we said about Part 1 applies to Part 2 as well.
So now it's time for best part.
Worst part.
Well, do you, Buck?
Heading down the highway, I haven't got a clue how I got in this car, baby. And left without you.
Commander.
And your best part.
My best part, I'm going to go with the new Buzz Lightyear, who's got the new utility belt. Again, it was really cool to see a couple of new jokes about how he thinks he's this space ranger, and he doesn't know his laser is just a light, and his interaction with Zurg.
I love the Zurg stuff, and the moment where they're trying to figure out which Buzz is the real Buzz, and he pops open his helmet, and it's a callback to the first movie, and that was just cool.
And worst part, it's really hard to pick a worst part for Toy Story 2, just as hard as it was to pick one for Toy Story 1, because the movie is pretty much flawless. I mean, I had a big smile on my face from start to finish, and anything that is a worst part is really a nitpick on my part. So I'll go with the outtakes at the end. They're kind of cute. They were really awesome the first time I ever saw them, when the movie was re-released with the extra new little outtakes. But I think the more I watch them, the less funny they get, and there is a little bit of like bodily humor, you know, like
a little
lowbrow humor in those. So that's a nitpick. I don't hate it. It's just if I got to pick a low point, that's it.
Yeah, and my worst part is also going to seem like a nitpick because the Toy Story movies are among my favorite movies of all time. I would say the worst part, just right at the end, all the toys are back together in Andy's room, and Wheezy, the little penguin, breaks out the microphone and starts to sing, and it feels a little contrived, like we need a nice happy musical number to send everyone on their way
And
smiling out of the theater.
And a new version of You Got a Friend in Me,
Right.
which again...
And now my best part, which actually is another version of You've Got a Friend in Me, is where we find out Woody's rich history, Woody's roundup, being like Howdy Doody, that kind of thing, and just this great show. And we see that You've Got a Friend in Me was a song on this old black and white show. And we meet Jesse and Bullseye and the Prospector. And Woody really was the Buzz Lightyear of his day.
Yeah.
He's not just some random cowboy toy. He was the star of a cultural phenomenon. And just as the years have gone by, people have forgotten about him. So I really like that we get to see Woody's heritage and all that Woody's Roundup stuff just really, even though I wasn't alive in that time that it's supposed to set, makes me feel nostalgic for like an era when you're a kid and you love all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So that's probably my best part.
I like that too, because in the first movie, they certainly make Woody seem obsolete and passé, and it was cool to see him in all his glory in the second one.
Yeah, just great. So hopefully Toy Story 3 will be as good as the first two.
Fingers crossed.
If advanced word is any indication, we all should be in for a treat.
So thanks for watching, and until next week.
Enjoy the show.
And you should know, what do you return? Well, it's been about 3 years since I first met your face, yeah. Well, I'm talking about people getting sad.